After sitting on the dais, King Maha Chanaka asked the advisors if the previous king had left any instructions. They told him,
"The king said that we should give the kingdom to whoever can win the heart of the princess."
King Maha Chanaka answered,
"That has been done. What else?"
They then said,
"The king said that we should give the kingdom to whoever could identify the head of a square bed."
King Maha Chanaka then said,
This cannot be known directly, yet it can be known by contrivance."
The king then took out a golden needle from his hair and asked the princess,
"Please put this at the head of the square bed."
The princess took the golden needle and placed it at the head of the bed. Then he asked the advisors,
"This is done. What else?" The king said that we should give the kingdom to whoever can string the bow that requires the strength of 1,000 men.
And with that, King Maha Chanaka took the heavy bow and, using his strength of mind and body that he had honed over countless lifetimes, the prince drew the bow as if it were simply a child's toy. After which he asked,
"What else?" The king said that we should give the kingdom to whoever can figure out the hiding place of the 16 treasures from a poem.
After hearing the poem, King Maha Chanaka was able to correctly identify where all 16 treasures were buried. He then had them dug up and added to the royal treasury. After that, he asked the advisors,
"What else?"
They answered,
"You have done all that the previous king required."
Having earned his position and wealth, King Maha Chanaka thought,
"What good is all this gold and wealth if I do not use it to help the people?"
He gave the wealth from the 16 treasures to people at the 5 distribution centers throughout the city. This caused much happiness in the hearts of all. Next, King Maha Chanaka had a royal carriage sent to bring his mother and the Brahmin from Kalachampa and showered them with great honor. King Maha Chanaka made sure to bestow riches on the Brahmin and his wife in gratitude for their charity and love. They sacrificed so much to protect and look after him and his mother for many years. King Maha Chanaka never forgot a favor given and never failed to repay it. King Maha Chanaka was well loved by the people. In order to allow all his subjects to see him, he prepared a great festival and led a parade through the city. People came from far and wide and showered him with praises and gifts. King Maha Chanaka reflected upon the actions that led him to this point. He reflected upon the strife between his father and his uncle. He reflected upon the war and death of many men. He reflected upon his mother's fear and her sacrifice to keep him alive. He reflected upon the Brahmin's kindness in taking in his pregnant mother. He reflected upon the lessons he learned during his childhood. He reflected upon the hard work he put into training his mind and body. He reflected upon the great effort he put forth in swimming in the great ocean for 7 days and 7 nights. Without that great exertion, he would not have been able to achieve his goal. He thought,
"Courage to move forward is the right thing to do. Had I not shown courage in the great ocean, would I have been able to attain this glory?
He felt great joy in his heart and knew that one of his karmic goals was complete. After some time, the king and queen had a healthy young boy they named Dikau Kumara. When he grew up, his father made him viceroy. One day, King Mahachanaka decided to visit the garden. There, he saw 2 great mango trees, one with ripe fruit and one completely devoid of any fruit. Since the king had not eaten from the tree, no one had dared to harvest the ripe fruit. The king tasted the mango and was surprised at the divine flavor. He thought to himself,
I will definitely return and eat several more.
Once it was known that the king had eaten from the mango tree, everyone, from the viceroy to the elephant keepers, gathered and ate some. People climbed the tree, broke branches, and stripped the leaves. In the end, all that was left of the tree was broken and battered branches, never to give fruit again. On the other side, the mango tree without fruit stood as beautifully as ever. When the king came back and saw the trees, he asked his advisors what had happened. They told him,
The crowd saw that your majesty had eaten the fruit and then plundered it. But tell me then, advisors, why has this tree not lost any leaves or color? My lord, this tree is bright green because it has no fruit.
The king reflected.
This tree is whole because it had no fruit, while this tree is broken and battered because of its fruit.
He used this real-life moment as a parallel to develop wisdom. He saw that the kingdom was like a tree with much fruit. Owing to the prosperity of the kingdom, people would harbor greed, fight, kill, steal, harm, and commit evil, thus leaving the kingdom and its people in ruins, both physically and spiritually. He who possesses much property will also possess much fear and suffering due to his property.
I will not be like the fruitful tree. I will be like the barren one. I will live the life of an ascetic, having little and wanting little. I will leave all my glory behind. I will give up all my worldly possessions and search for true freedom.
He decided to live like an ascetic. However, he found that being king and practicing was very difficult. He decided to fully ordain himself as an ascetic and to live in the mountains. He cut off his hair and beard and put on a yellow robe. He took one bowl and headed for the mountains. Queen Siwali Dewi found out and led a group of attendants to beg the king to return. They followed him for many days. One day, the Bodhisattva went for alms at the home of the arrow maker. While waiting for food, the Bodhisattva observed the arrow maker looking with one eye to make sure the arrow was straight. When the Bodhisattva asked him why he looked with only one eye instead of 2, the arrow maker said,
Using both eyes distracts my view. If I use only one eye, I can focus and my vision is true.
The Bodhisattva recognized this as a parallel to his current situation. He internalized and thought,
With others around me, I'm distracted by my thoughts and their actions. But if I were truly alone, I could focus my mind and see reality in its truest form.
the Bodhisattva told Queen Siwali Devi of his intention to live alone as an ascetic. She begged and pleaded with all she had for him to return with her. However, the Bodhisattva's mind was set. He had already seen the future awaiting him as king. His only chance for attaining spiritual advancement was as an ascetic. Only then could he free his mind from the rounds of rebirth. Queen Siwali Devi's heart could not handle the Bodhisattva's resolve. She fainted. The Bodhisattva left on his journey, and when Queen Siwali Devi woke up, she could not find the Bodhisattva's tracks. She knew he was gone forever. Gathering herself, Queen Siwali Devi returned home. Her son was appointed as the new king. As for herself, Queen Siwali Devi decided to follow her husband's example and lived a life of simplicity and renunciation. She renounced fancy clothes, comforts, and pleasures. She only ate to sustain her life. She reflected on the fruits of reality and gained much insight. As for the Bodhisattva, he strove to attain spiritual awakening until the end of his days.
What do you think the moral of this story is?
We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads.